anterior pelvic tilt. When someone has, that's their hips being tilted forward. When someone has anterior pelvic tilt, here's what you got going. You have tight hip flexors, psoas, rectus femoris. You have this is just the things that raises your knee up in case you want to rotate. And then you're going to get a tight low back, weak hamstrings, and a weak abdominal. So, rectus abdominis and transverse abdominis. So, what you're going to do first is we're going to do some soft tissue work on that psoas. So, I mean, there's a few things, but it's pretty deep in there. So, what you're going to do is take a lacrosse ball. I want you to feel the little bony part of your hip. See there? Yeah. That's your ASIS, your anterior, superior, iliac spine, but it doesn't matter. It's just your hip. You're going to put this right beside there. This is your lacrosse ball. Hold it there. And then what you can do, if I'm not here, you can take a kettlebell and really put it in there. And you can, yeah. And so you can like move it around and just get some soft tissue work on. Slow control. You can move it, as long as it's in the area, you can move it around a little bit. And do the other side. So it's better to do the soft tissue work before you do stretches, so you can get that tissue pliable so it moves around better. And then I need a foam roller when you're done. Is that yours? Perfect. So you'll do that. I would say I would spend a solid 60 seconds at least on each side, really getting that tissue nice and pliable. And then with the lumbar, I mean, you're just going to, what happens, your lumbar spine and your low back gets super tight. And so you don't really want to stretch based on what Stuart McGill would tell us. You don't want to really stretch your lumbar spine, but to getting some soft tissue work, that's different. Just think you just don't want to get those discs and try to get them to compress out. So using a nice foam roller is the best way to get the low back. So you're gonna roll, up and down. I would go all the way into the top of your glutes, the butt. Yeah. All right, and then when you're done with that, you move on to a nice stretch. Let me show. Take a half knee. Like in football, take a knee. Right? So now you're going to take this arm and reach it straight up. Squeeze your butt and push your hip without doing that. Getting in your low back. Keep your abs tight. Push your hips forward. Squeeze this butt and push your hip forward. And if it's too easy, put that foot out a little bit more. The key is not to lean back, is to keep that hip neutral. Because you don't want any kind of posterior or anterior tilt. Pushing. Now you can rotate towards me. I'm sorry, use this arm. Yeah, there we go. Now you can rotate away from it and squeeze your butt. Squeeze your butt and push forward. To really open up the psoas, the hip flexor. All right, do that on each side. Now, once that gets, easy, do you feel that a lot? Yeah. All right, once it gets to where you've lengthened the hip flexor of the psoas enough, you can actually elevate that back leg. Amy, here, come here real quick. I know she can do this. Amy's super mobile, so this will be easy one for her. Come over here. I want you to put your foot up on there and then take a knee. Show her, I want you to take a knee with your foot elevated. So you're going to take a knee, with your back foot's going to be on the bench.
My back foot?
Yep.
Like this?
Now take a knee, yeah. So that's good. Well, it's about too high. Use the plates. So the reason why you want to do this is because your rectus femoris is also your quads. The long quad really crosses the hip, and by lengthening it at the knee and then pushing the hip forward, you're going to get a true lengthening of the hip flexor. Because if you don't, if the knee if you're not flexed at the knee, then it won't change. The length won't change that much because it crosses the knee and the hip. So if that leg is straight, even though you're stretching at the hip, the muscle in itself is not lengthened at all because it's contracted here, it's lengthened here, which equals 0. So now it is lengthened there and lengthened at the hip. So now you're going to get a true lengthening of of the rectus femoris. Just squeeze your butt and push forward, reaching straight up. Don't lean forward. Squeeze your stomach too. Flex your stomach. There we go. You can do that as well. All right? Good, thank you. So now that's good. You can do it both sides if you want. So now we've lengthened the hip flexors. We have we've done soft tissue work on the psoas. We have actually done some soft tissue work on the lumbar spine, and we're not going to stretch it based on the advice of Stuart McGill. Some people might, differ on that opinion, but I'm going to err on the side of the world's greatest, research in low backs. All right, so we're going to do a plank tank. Because now, like I said, with anterior pelvic tilt, one of the problems is you have weak abs. I love the plank, and he's doing a really good job of that too. Make sure we stay up here. The key, push up. Don't let your low back sag is the key. All right, good. And what I would do, I'd recommend if you could do 3 or 4 sets of 60 seconds, that would be good. All right, now on your back. Now we're gonna do one more. This is also Stuart McGill. Obviously, I'm a big fan. So put your hands on your low back. One leg straight, one leg knee bent. Goes up, and then you reach straight up. Try not to reach up to the ceiling versus You don't even have to reach so much with your neck as much as just come up and flex your ass. You can see him shaking right away. That's called the McGill curl up. That's good. And once again, 4 reps of 15 seconds is what I would recommend. The main thing, you don't want to do a lot of flexion just because a lot of times when you're holding abdominal flexion and you're pulling your chest down, that can lead to other issues. Somebody's phone loud.
That's Sarah.
All right. So we've done foam roller, the crossball, planks, curl ups. Oh, one more, Tank.
Okay.
Stand up. Now we're going to do unilateral RDLs. So I like the unilateral RDLs because one of the weak muscles is your hamstring, and so it's going to be weak where it crosses the hip. And so what you're going to do is you're going to just go. You can either use a kettlebell, but for now we're just going to do without a kettlebell. You're going to go over it. And the main thing is when you go over that back leg, you're going to really keep that glute flexed on the other side. Let's go. Raise that back leg higher, and then up. Ready to come up now. Let it go down. We're going to go 3 sets of 10 reps on each side, but for day, we're just going to do 4. That's good, Tank. Good balance. It's all right. You're also getting stability, and you're opening up the far hips. Not only are you working the hamstring on the foot that's on the ground, on this other one, you're opening up that hip. And you're teaching the hip to move separate of one another. A lot of times we sit so much bilaterally, meaning we sit with both our butts and hips on the ground, that they freeze up and they don't move like they should. Let's do the other side. So this is going to get that motion that we're after, allowing the hips to do what they're supposed to do. We're going to strengthen the hamstring that has gotten weak, and we're going to open the hip up here by squeezing the butt. The good thing when you keep your leg up like that too, by flexing your butt, your glutes attached to your femur, and it helps slide it back. A lot of times what comes with the anterior pelvic tilt is that forward glide syndrome of the femur, and you get a lot of anterior hip pain. So this will help, free that up, give some space, and allow you to move like you should. So anyway, thanks for everyone, and that concludes my videos of corrective exercises.